Everybody, welcome to the CTTechJunkie.com podcast. We are back again with another Connecticut company doing some interesting stuff in the consumer market. And joining me is Joe Tocco from ConnectQuest. Hey, Joe, how are you?
I'm fine, Todd. How are you?
Good. So thanks for joining us and getting this going here. We wanted to, I guess we'll start with the beginning here. You were an IBM guy for 30 years. You left or moved on, and now you're on your own with something new. So why don't you tell us about what your product is all about?
Okay, well, ConnectQuest, it's a technology company with innovative close proximity technology in the mobile space. And the project that we're very excited about is in the, as you said, the consumer space. We're coming out of beta in Middletown, Connecticut, and the product is threefold. It's a transceiver, which is our patented technology, and it has free apps that you can download, and obviously a back end in the cloud database, very progressive database that does all the work. So in a scenario for this particular project, if you walk by, or if you're in Middletown and you walk by a consumer store that's participating, there are over 50, you will have flashed on your smartphone their deal of the day or their loyalty program or any advertisement that they want or special deals. And at that point, you can choose to walk in and redeem that digital coupon or digital deal, or you can save it. There's a save function and have it for a later date. And you can also, with the app, you can search. So you could be proactive and search before you go to Middletown and understand where the deals are and save them as you need them. So that's one implementation of this technology. We're really centric around a transceiver, very, very proprietary transceiver. We have 2 utility patents on this transceiver. There's nothing like it in the industry. It can place you exactly in front of a store, within a couple of feet, within 10 feet. It can go up to 800 feet. The range is variable and adjustable in the field, so the consumer, the retailer, or the user of the product of the transceiver can adjust that range in real time. So that's what we're built around, and the systems and methods that we've patented include many more than this project that we're rolling now. We're coming out of beta. We've been down there for close to a year, fine-tuning the transceiver, building the database, building the apps in the cloud. What we do is different than anyone else in the space, in this mobile advertising space, in that we empower the retailer to generate the coupon through our cloud, and so we scale by technology, not by resource. Many of our competitors have tens of thousands, 10,000 people that go out and broker deals, and there's a lot of brick and mortar. There's a lot of personnel expense. We've spent a lot of time, over 2 years, building this product to where the retailer, once they sign up. They can sign up online. They can start in 15 minutes, start to participate in the program.
And so talk about this transceiver. Is it something that, because it's using whatever the iPhone has or the Android device has already for radio communication. So is it going through Bluetooth over Wi-Fi? Is there something is it looking for a specific Wi-Fi MAC address or something as it's going by? Like what's the technique for
Yep.
or is that proprietary?
Yep. I won't give you, there's some trade secret stuff
Sure.
That our IP lawyers have kind of put under covers. But
yeah, sure.
You're right. It's Bluetooth. The communication is Bluetooth. So we do a lot with, within the transceiver, if you deconstructed it, there's an off-the-shelf chip, the most progressive chip that one of the large chip maker makes, along with our proprietary chip, and then a lot of code between them, a lot of firmware between them. But the transport is Bluetooth. That's what excites the phone. The transceiver excites the phone with Bluetooth. And we've actually, we've gone into the Bluetooth stack, at the lowest level, the 0.1 level, and have made changes so that we can poll and dialogue with all smartphones. And also the range variable is something that we've worked with that is proprietary, something that we've built. And we've built this and modified the transceiver and the architecture of the transceiver so that we could implement this current consumer-based product. But what we have, and this is how I look at mobile advertising in terms of close proximity, it's in its infancy now. In a year or two, it'll look much different. So we're poised with this transceiver and the architecture of it to put functional behavior that customers want in the transceiver so they can do just about anything that their business calls for. The standard chip that comes out of the major manufacturers is obviously very generic. You can pass a parameter through a register, something simple.
Right.
Pass a piece of data. Ours has the ability to pass and have logic to do whatever you need to do at the other end of the connection. It could be a smartphone. It could be another sensor that we work with. Asset management, asset control is very, very important. It's starting to open, in hospitals and other facilities to where you have to monitor assets. So with our transponder, we can do that. We put it out in the field, and we have sensors on devices, physical devices.
That's pretty neat. And does it work if I'm driving by a store, or is it? I guess 800 feet so it could probably penetrate a car door or something. So if I'm driving by, it'll ping me as I'm driving.
It's walking, and that's why we give the ability in the field to dynamically change the range. Because I think the thing we're excited about is I look at it fully implemented. So we're rolling out of Middletown into New Haven, into Stanford. We have Boston and New York, the big theaters coming up, critical mass. So I see it walking down Commonwealth Avenue, or in Copley Square, or in Kenmore Square. We're in New York, walking down Park Avenue, Madison Avenue, with hundreds of stores. And as you walk by a store and you're in front of it, you're invited to come in and take the deal.
And you'll get better accuracy too, given that if I'm in New York City, of course I've tried to get navigated through New York City, and oftentimes, your GPS on your phone falls a little short because interference of buildings or just the lack of really pinpoint accuracy. This certainly gives you a little bit more of that, given you're doing essentially a little bit of near field communication through Bluetooth, that you're either right next to the store or you're not. Yes. Right? Is that the?
Yep. I'll tell you a little story. I don't like to tell stories because we're on this short call here, but my partner did some work with NASA, and he's the real technical guy behind this. And so I didn't believe him. I said, this isn't going to work because people have phones, you get GPS, and they'll put you in front of the store. So he took me to New York. And he showed me with GPS where we were blocks away, where the GPS and cell phone triangulation had us blocks away from where we were. So yes, it doesn't work. You need something that emits a signal as you pass by and calibrates range.
Right, that gets you there. So let's take a quick look at the app here. I'm going to see if this works. Look at that, it actually works. We'll put the app.
It works well, actually, yes.
There we go. Actually, it was just my screen share here. So you maybe just walk us through how it works here. So right now, I loaded up the app, and it's searching. Now, of course, I'm in my house in Ivoryton, and there's nothing but trees around me. So we're not going to find any shops here. So if I hit search, I notice my phone vibrates. Now, does this automatically start searching when I turn the app on?
Yes, the default is, and we've learned it the hard way. Originally, it did. Okay. And we did a focus group, and we found from the focus group that they thought once they started the app, it would start running. So we defaulted it to searching. So you're right. It starts at searching.
And does it work in the background also while I'm not using it on the iOS platform?
Yeah. Well, no. When you search, if you're going to manually search, it will not. It will stop.
And if it's automatically searching or something, so I guess when I load the app up, if I were to pop out of the app and just go back to my main screen here, would it still be looking?
Yes, it's a background process. It will run in the background.
And then I also have obviously the option here if I'm where I am, because I have nothing near me. If I want to see what's nearby, I can do a quick search based on my location, and it gives me a whole bunch of stuff. It looks like you guys have been busy in Middletown.
Yes, in fact, as I said, we're coming out of beta. We're very successful, and New Haven is next, Stanford, and as you can see, we're just scaling. And then the big move is going to be Boston and New York, and that would be sometime later this year.
And then, of course, I have the option here to save some coupons and whatnot. And I had saved one just from Forbidden City here, so I guess I could always come back to that one later. And if I want to redeem this, and it says redeem in store, is this something I just walk up to the clerk in the store and say,
Yes.
here it is, and
Well, you click. Yeah, the store owner would click redeem.
oh, I see.
Yep.
Okay, so you give them your phone when you get in there. So then I also have some other options here. There's a help screen. There's share, so I guess I can email people just to get the app, I guess, right?
Yes. Also, there was info. If you look back on the coupon, there's a lot of data behind the coupon too. You can go for more info, and you can actually dialogue with the store. That's one thing that the store owners really liked, is that they can engage in real time. They can engage the customer.
I see. So they maintain that there. And then, of course, there's a little bit of an about screen here too. So now it seems like the app here is the app is certainly one component of it, but you also have a technology, I guess, that you plan to license. So do you see yourself working potentially with people you might consider competitors in this space to provide them with the technology to be able to use this with their applications?
Sure, everything is on the table. Licensing and cross-licensing are two things that we're looking at, and as we come out and as we get known, and that's kind of where we are in this process, is we're going to become known, hopefully through this video, and we have other videos planned. And the Generator organization down in Middletown is our PR organization, and Marsha Seidman has built the plan, designed the plan, and she's now executing it. So we're going to start to get, we believe, we'll start to get inquiries, and licensing is always an option. I mean, I like when all ships rise,
Right,
so
of course. No, you never know when.
There's no win-lose. There's no win-lose. Everybody wins. So
right, and business changes very quickly in this industry too. So
Sure.
I think there's certainly some opportunities out there. Now, the transceiver, is this manufactured somewhere, or is it right now? Are these kind of just things you've built yourself? And
no, we have a manufacturing concern out west, and at this point we're kind of at a low level. They're fabricating them in their site, but we're also in line with a number of, I believe in, this is obviously from my experience, of multiple source. So we have a couple of sources overseas. When we go volume, we'll have a couple of parallel, at least two starting, and then probably open up more paths. So we have redundancy, and so at this point, as we roll out, we've got a few hundred in New Haven, and then maybe another 1,000 or so out in Stanford. 800 to 1,000. But
Right.
when we hit New York and Boston, then we'll have the overseas production coming in, and so we have a pretty good handle on rolling this out. And right now we're at the point of recognition. We want people to know, who we are, what we have, why we're unique. I like to call it reactive instead of proactive coupon searching. Most of the time you have to search for things, and you're proactive as a user. This is reactive. You walk by, you just have the phone, the app's running, and you're posted with a buy when you're there, when you're in front of the store. So I kind of like to react too. Proactive is work for me.
Right, yeah, no, it's true.
So I'm a bit lazy. I'd rather, you work. I'd rather the technology work for me.
Right, have it be a passive process versus an active one.
Exactly right. Those are better terms. I'll use those terms.
There
Passive.
you go. You could. I'll take a cut of that.
Yeah.
So now the pricing model here is there's no charge for submitting coupons, but I guess you charge money for the hardware. And is there any kind of monthly fee after that?
Yep. And our model works out. We charge $29.95, which is, in my words, a rounding error in a retail store for advertising. I mean, they spend lots of money doing advertising. So $29.95. And that $29.95, our business model, that's a number, and it's unique in most of these pricing models today, at least in the mobile advertising domain. It aggregates, and the numbers logarithmic in the end of the year, the second year. The numbers become very, very unbelievable, is really the word. Because it's an annuity, it's a monthly annuity, and that aggregation just goes off the charts.
Right. So it's $29.99 a month.
Yes, for the retailer, and they get coupons. They get 2 coupons a month that they could work and rotate, and then there's a small fee if they wanted more coupons, a little scale. If they wanted 8 coupons a month, and there's a little bit more. But basically, it's $29.95. It's no cost to the consumer, $29.95 for the retailer, and I said this in the very beginning. If a retailer said that, no, thank you, I think it's a little bit too expensive, for what I'm getting, we probably wouldn't want to work with that retailer because there's something behind that. I could not believe somebody not wanting to do it. And so far, that's the kind of acceptance we've had in Middletown.
Right, so they're willing to give it a shot because it's
Yeah,
certainly
just
cheaper than some other advertising might be. Is there and how are you marketing the app to users? Because obviously it only works if someone has downloaded your app. So is there a lot of work you're doing to try to raise awareness? Because you've got some pretty strong competitors out there. You've got the review sites like Yelp. You've got location-based things like Foursquare. How do you rise above that bubble? Is it just stickers in the window at the store or something? Like how are you doing that?
In fact, we do. You can see it. This is a sticker. It's a QR code. But obviously, there's some viral effect in the marketplace, and we'll have that. But we also have we've retained a couple of companies for blogging. We obviously have a Facebook presence, a Twitter presence, and we're probably a month into it. Maybe 5 weeks into it. And so we're out, and Marsha obviously is doing PR work, and we have people working these blogs. So, from my experience, this is foreign. How to make a app viral, and so I believe the companies that we have working for us, the plans that they have, and the presence that we have. We have a blog obviously on our website, but the social media we've covered pretty much the main social media outlets, and the forums and the blogs. I think this is a grassroots kind of a thing. I think it goes from the bottom up, and people like it and they share it, and so it's the exciting part now because all the hard work is behind us. The transceiver was a very difficult product to build. It took us quite a while. A couple of different organizations. And then the website was very difficult because the website, the reason we scale by technology and not by resource in terms of bringing on retailers is all the intellect is in the app on the website, the database and the applications in the cloud. It makes it very easy. Within 15 minutes, a retailer enters in their information and they're live. They start serving coupons within 15 minutes.
And they just plug this thing in, and then do you have a transceiver with you that we can look at, or is it?
Let's see. I didn't take one with us. We have a field operations manager. He has all the inventory.
Oh.
I'm back at the office.
The office, right?
We do.
Okay, cool. Oh, so it's not very big at all.
No, not very big. It will get smaller, obviously, with technology. There are some out, I won't mention names, but there are companies, but there are some out that have a little smaller sensor, which is limited. It's not all-inclusive. This is all-inclusive. It gets all smartphones. It has logic in it in that, as I said, my background is in IBM. I was an architect at one point, and I understand having constructs and a base to build from. And so what we have in here is that architecture. We can, as customers come up with requirements, we can, through hardware, implement the requirement. And with the big companies, TI is a big player, they have off the shelf is they have a general, they'll have a chip that's a system on a chip, but obviously it's general. And ours, and I don't know what's going to be out in 6 months or a year. We have other projects that we're working on. This one we're rolling, we're out. But we have others, asset tracking, we have others that we're working on. And we'll have customers that come to us at some point once they see the idea, and they'll have a need, and we'll be able to implement that need by enhancing the transceiver. And no one else can do that. These other transceivers, there's a couple out there, and they're basically, a quarter size or a little bit larger, and they emit a Bluetooth signal.
Right.
And they could pass through a register, some data.
Interesting. And one last question for you. So many of these startups these days, and first of all, I think it's quite unique that you've got software and the hardware too, because a lot of times people are focusing on software only and just focused on what the phone has built into it to rely on that location data. So it's an interesting approach.
Yep.
So many companies are starting, especially in the advertising space, are starting in New York City versus starting in Connecticut. And I would assume you probably live here, which is probably why you're starting here. But have you seen any difficulties in are you seeking out venture funding? Are you doing some of those things, or are you mostly bootstrapping? And also, why Connecticut, and why not one of those other places like San Francisco or New York City?
Well, obviously Connecticut, because it's local. Not that we've used local resources, but we have quite a few people that we use in Connecticut. My partner and I live here. But I remember Gartner group presented to us once. This is when I was at IBM. And I pulled away a couple of things. And one thing I pulled away was Gartner said, projects fail for a few reasons. One, funding, not freezing requirements. He said, but the third reason that they fail is they're not ready for success. And so if I can choose, I'd rather, this is my approach, and it's worked well for me over time, is you start small, you fine-tune everything, and then you logarithmically roll it out. So going into New York, and with hindsight, if we went into New York or we went into Miracle Mile in Chicago or somewhere, where we were in the beginning, we probably would not have been successful because the transceiver was a very difficult piece to nail down. And the application up on the website is a very, very complex application. It took us quite a while to get that settled down and build all the functions into it. So that's why I chose. And I don't know, I haven't seen a report on how many people start in New York City and don't succeed, but it's not an approach that is native to me.
Great. Well, it looks like that bell might end the.
Was that it? Was that your bell?
that was you. It was you.
Okay.
I got an infant downstairs, so you'll know when my time is up. But I want to thank you for talking with us this morning. And it's like I said, it's a different approach, which is what interested us in taking a look at it, because we get hit with app pitches all the time, but very few have designed unique hardware around that, and I think it's an interesting concept. So thanks, Joe, for spending the time with us this morning, and we'll probably write this up and get it up by the end of the weekend. So thanks for
thank you very much. Thank you for your time. We look forward to it. We'll see you in the future.
Yeah, good luck, and we'll see if my thing goes off when I go up to Middletown next. So
okay,
I'll let you know how it works.
Okay, have a good day.
Thanks, you too.